I can't believe it. It's happening. He's going to be here right now. In fact, he's the co-creator of Veggietales. He's the voice of the beloved Larry the Cucumber. He serves as assistant professor of film and animation at Lipscomb University and co-hosts the weekly podcast, The Bible for Kids. He's got a brand new project. Welcome to the show, Mike Nawrocki.
Brian, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
We're glad to have you here. And what's incredible, of course, is, as you hear all the time, people love Veggietales. And when you guys were in your heyday, you know, there were kids of that age demographic that were just into it and watching it, loving it. And then they grew up and worked for a radio show. And one of the biggest moments of their lives is that you are on the show with us. We've got Lauren and Daria here, and they're huge fans when they were kids of your show.
Oh, that's awesome, you guys. Well, God made you special, and he loves you very much.
I told them you're a good sport and you do it. And what I'm hoping we can do is talk about your exciting new project. And then we may need to talk to Larry for a few minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay. His voice gets a little gruff at 7 a.m., but other than that, that's fine.
Okay, so we've been hearing some spots on our station for this, too. Your brand new project is the Dead Sea Squirrels. I laugh when I hear the title. What is this about?
Well, so Merle and Pearl, they're two... it's an old Jewish couple from first century Galilee. They take a trip down the Jordan River because Merle's always wanted to visit the Dead Sea because he heard you can't sink. And they spend a lovely day at the beach, but, swimming in the water, getting all salty. But then, it's very hot there for squirrels. And so they take shelter in a cave to escape the sun, and they get lost in the cave and preserved in sea salt for 2,000 years. And then they're found by a little boy named Michael, 10-year-old, who's visiting with his dad, who's an archaeologist. And Michael sneaks him back home with him to Tennessee in his backpack, sits him up on his windowsill so they don't stink up his room. He thinks they're really cool vacation souvenirs. And it rains that night. They rehydrate, desalinate, and reanimate. And so they're able to help Michael and his buddies as they experience problems as 10-year-olds in the modern day by reflecting back to the first century and the teachings of Jesus and the disciples. So that's it. That's it in a nutshell.
Now, my friends Lauren and Daria seem to be hoping it's based on a true story. It sounds like it might be. Is that?
Yes.
2,000-year-old squirrels.
That's so creative, Mike. And this has to, as I recall, this is a labor of love for you. You've been working on this project for a while, right?
I have, back in my Veggietales days, a line we drew in the sand early on with Veggietales was to never depict Jesus as a vegetable. And we just, thought that would be wise to not do that.
I guess that's true. Yeah. I mean, which one would you pick? Well, yeah. I don't know. Is he I don't know what, a squash? I'm not sure.
Yeah. It just doesn't seem right? And so all the other vegetables would be jealous and everything. But so I wanted to have a type of story that would allow for the retelling of more New Testament stories. And so I started dreaming about this, many years ago. And then when I left Big Idea full time in 2016, I started to develop it as an animated series, obviously, because that's what I knew. But then a buddy of mine who was in publishing asked if I had ever considered it as an early reader book series. And I hadn't, but I thought that was a great idea. So I, kind of worked up a pitch and then he set up a meeting with Tyndale, and they loved the idea. So I started writing the books back in 2017. And yeah, and then had the opportunity to do an animated pilot in the early 2000s. And here we are. So it's been a number of years, and I'm just so thrilled, both with the books and with the animated series.
No, I'm sure folks are curious if your voice talent is used as one of the squirrels. Are you doing voice work in this?
Yes, I am. So I am Merle Squirrel. So I'm one of the squirrels. So it's really fun to be back in the booth and voicing a character. So yeah. And there's a really talented other group of voice actors as well that have come alongside. So I'm just thrilled with that as well.
Now, tell folks where they can see this and how they can learn more, because, I mean, the concept is hilarious, and we're always looking for new ways to chat with kids about Scripture.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So the series is streaming on Minnow. And Minnow is a great Christian streaming service for kids. It's the number one service for kids. All the Veggietales library is available there as well, as are 321 Penguins and other great content. So you can find Dead Sea Squirrels on gominnow.com. or you can just, plug in deadseasquirrels.com and that'll route you over to Minnow. And so, and you can go to my socials, Mike Nawrocki, to learn more about the show as well.
You just blew my friend Lauren's mind with your reference to 321 Penguins.
I forgot about that show.
It's a great show.
Mike,
The best show.
Mike developed that.
Yeah, he did.
It's the best.
So you watched that too?
Yes.
Yeah.
I am young.
That's so great.
Wow. Yeah, you've got some big fans here, Mike. Again, check out Dead Sea Squirrels, brand new project from Mike Nawrocki. I've had a chance to meet you. It's been a long time, Mike, and I'll just say that you and your colleagues are fabulous. We love the work you do with kids. And I'd be remiss if I didn't take a chance to see if we could chat with Larry for a moment here for my friends Lauren and Daria.
Sure. Larry's here. How's it going, Lauren and Daria and Brian?
We're good. How are you?
I'm tired.
Yeah, us too. What time do you get up, Larry?
Usually about, I usually roll out of the patch at about 10 a.m. most days.
Now, tell Larry about your good friend Liz, Daria, who's been beside herself about this conversation.
I have a college buddy. We watched Veggietales in college because, that's what you do when you're 20 and trying to figure out life. She's texted in a series of questions, Larry. She wants to know what your favorite costume that you got to wear was.
Ooh.
Favorite costume? Well, I gotta say it's a toss-up between Larry Boy, my superhero costume, and I think probably Little Joe or Big Mo. My cowboy costumes. I really love those.
Now, she had a question for Mike and Larry as well.
A combo deal.
If Mike can come back to the phone quickly here.
All right.
Brian.
Yeah, just steps away.
How did you invent the Larry voice?
So I did puppetry. Phil Vischer and I actually met, Bob the Tomatoes, Phil. We met doing puppets in Bible college back in the mid-'80s. And Larry was based off of one of my puppet voices named Soupy, I remember. And I actually, if you listen to the very first few episodes of Veggietales, Larry's voice is sort of lower and dopier. Lower and dopey, kind of like this. And so that was that Soupy voice. But then over time, I like to say Larry went through reverse puberty as his voice squeaked up. And then I also had a lisp too, and so I lost the lisp. Not personally, but I characterized the Larry his voice with a lisp, and I lost the lisp after a while too. So so it took a few years to kind of land at the Larry that is Larry now, but that's kind of how it started.
Now, if I remember right, this is for Mike, not Larry. Your kids are around Lauren and Daria's age. How did they process their dad being Larry? Was it cool? Was it annoying? How did that go?
It depends on time of life.
Okay.
It was funny because I remember them being at an age where they really couldn't make the distinction yet. Like if I was in Larry character for my daughter, she'd be full on talking to Larry, when she was like 3 or 4. So I could be in one room and speak to her through a door and then come back around and say, "Who are you talking to?" "Oh, it's Larry. He's on the other side of the door."
That's so cute.
That was cute. And then I do think for most of my kids' childhood, they used it as street cred, for their friends, that their dad was Larry. So I think middle school was probably the only time when it was not quite all that cool.
Well, it seems to me that Larry is seismically more cool than Bob.
Take that back. They're
that
equally
fair?
Cool.
I'll take that. I'll take that flex.
Now, to talk to, we did have another question for Larry. If you could pass the phone over to Larry.
Sure. Okay, what do we got?
We have debate about how many teeth you have, Larry.
Oh, yes.
So
Well,
what's the story?
One tooth. It is my adult tooth, though. I had a baby tooth before, so I guess 2 in all if you count the baby tooth, but that one's gone.
So we don't have like one protruding tooth and like a bunch of teeth behind cucumber lips. We have one tooth.
One tooth. Yep, one tooth Larry. Yep, that's what they call me since I was a kid.
Now, we had a listener text in to say there was some sort of song about your tooth day, wondering if there's a second one hiding in there, but you're here to confirm officially here, breaking news, just one.
Breaking news, one and only one. That's right, my one and only tooth.
Okay. Now,
Vegetables don't need many teeth to eat.
my friend Lauren, is very put together and proper, and she refuses to talk to Larry. But I'm hoping Larry might give my 31-year-old mom of two friends.
You do not need to talk about my age.
Two young kids. I'm hoping Larry could encourage her a little bit here today.
Lauren, you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Well, Lauren,
Yes,
use
Larry.
your imagination. I'm just a friendly cucumber, that's all. And just embrace it. It's okay.
I need to get better at my imagination.
I knew I could get you to talk to Larry. I knew it. I feel like I've won something. Mike Nawrocki, you're such a good sport and a lot of fun. You know how much people in the Christian faith love the work that you and Phil did together. And I have no doubt the Dead Sea Squirrels is going to be an enormous hit. Remind folks again how to get their hands on the Dead Sea Squirrels.
Well, to watch the animation, go to GoMinno.com, and folks can get a free trial there to try it out for a little bit. And then, or you can go anywhere books are sold, Amazon.com or whatever, for the books. And so, yeah, I'm so thrilled about the series, and teaches kids about the gospel, and I am thankful that you're helping me get the word out.
And I love that you're encouraging folks that creativity and silliness can be certainly a big part of the Christian faith. I hope a bunch of young people are inspired to enter animation and voice work. Such a great thing you're doing, Mike. Thanks for that.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. God bless you guys.
You too. And see you, Larry.
See you later.
Oh, that's fantastic. God bless you, brother. We'll talk soon.